Good evening, all of you. So let's start once again this IHBAS 2024 question paper. So I hope you are well aware of the notification that your examination is going to be conducted on 31st of August tentatively. So before that, this complete series of 10 videos will be completed where you will be solving along with me these 10 questions and you will be knowing how this examination is super easy. You have to just figure out how to read, where to read and from what to read. And for that you can just simply watch all our previous videos and that will give you immense knowledge about the things which you need to take care of and which will boost your preparation. Now, as you can see, this is our series number A. So we will be solving series A. This is your paper number 1, clinical psychology. Maximum marks is 100 over there and time allotted is 90 minutes. Okay. And this is the trick over here. Time is the constraint. You will be having only 90 minutes. It means 1.5 hours. You will be having to solve this question paper. But if you have studied thoroughly, see what is the problem with these examinations is the paper is very basic, but it is a FOMO created that okay, the tough part is coming and all those things. But you have to be sharp, you have to be alert, and you have to solve maximum questions correctly in a limited amount of time. So considering that, please comment down below, is it a speed test or a what power test? Whatever the case is, you will be solving these 100 questions in the upcoming examination. And before that, if you have not yet joined on the Telegram, then why it is important for you? It is important for you because this question paper is available over there freely. Okay, so you don't need to pay for these question paper which are available freely. So just join on the Telegram channel and what enjoy the paper. Now this question number 1, what does clinical psychology primarily focus on? And that is the core of your subject, your Mphil Clinical Psychology. So obviously everyone sitting in the exam hall will be knowing that what obviously we are not going to talk about industrial applications over here. It might be the part of the industrial organizational psychology. Okay, now option number B is absolutely correct over here. Assessment and treatment of mental illness, that is what our clinical psychology will focus on and that is what our clinical psychologists will do. Behavioral changes in animals, that might not be the consideration for this thing. Okay, maybe the ethologist or maybe the behaviorist and maybe anyone else could want to study or will focus on those topics, but not the clinical psychology. And obviously along with the first option, that is organizational management, that is also not going to be the correct answer over here. So what is left? Only option number B, assessment and treatment of mental illness, is the absolutely correct answer over here. Now moving forward to the next one. Next is question is from your developmental psychology. Okay, one question from developmental psychology now. Which developmental stage is associated with Erik Erikson's trust versus mistrust conflict? Okay, so when this will come, this trust versus mistrust comes where? Let's try to find out what is happening over here. But before that we start, tell me in the comment section that was Erik Erikson a neo-Freudian or a Gestalt or what? Or pre-Freudian. Now as you can see, Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages, so it means we have to deal with the psyche as well and the society as well. Okay, now trust versus mistrust is the very first step or the very first stage that you need to take care of, which is important. Okay, trust versus mistrust. Then we are having autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry, and all these things are absolutely, I will not say absolutely anymore. Now see book, the everything is given over there. In the C book you will find each and everything that is written over here exactly the same. Might be this column might not be available over there, but yes, for this what you can do is you can just learn a mnemonic that sounds like homework on PC floating R classwork. Okay, so when you would have been a small child, you would have done homework on your PC. Okay, and that PC is floating in the air and you are doing your classwork as well. Okay, because we have seen questions on these also came in the examination of your Mphil clinical entrances. Okay, so hope, will, purpose, competence, fidelity, love, care, wisdom is very IMP. You have to remember this mnemonic: homework, PC, floating classwork, and you will be good to go. Now as you can see, trust versus mistrust is the basic conflict in the very first stage in the infancy. And that is why we will mark option number B as the correct answer. Trust versus mistrust, TM, is the very first stage in the Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. Now talking about adolescence, what is there in the adolescence? Over here, as you can see, adolescence 12 to 18 years, it is identity versus confusion. Okay, and this is so important because this is the, we can say, the stage of our life, this adolescent stage, where we are having a very important transition of our life. Okay, the adolescence years, and the basic conflict is identity versus confusion, and the virtue we are having is fidelity. Experiment with and develop identity and roles. Okay, in this year or in this age only, you will be making what, you will be identifying or you will be idealizing someone, maybe the actor or footballer or whatever that is. Okay, in this stage only. So in adolescence you will need to take care of or remember this thing, identity versus confusion, as well as you can see early adulthood for intimacy versus isolation, middle age is for generativity and versus stagnation, and old age is with integrity versus despair. So now you have also seen about the middle childhood, okay, whatever that is, and the early adulthood. Okay, but now you also know this is absolutely wrong. They want to write middle age over there, but they have just messed up. But what is the correct answer? Option number B is the correct answer in this particular question. Moving forward, this is which part of the brain is primarily associated with cognitive functions such as problem solving. Now this question is again from directly from your C book. Whatever we have done so far, everything is coming from the C book, not apart from that. Okay, now which part of the brain, as you know, you have a brain which has parts like the frontal, the parietal, the occipital, and this one is the temporal lobe. Okay, now cognitive functions such as problem solving, which of the following lobe will do problem solving? Now if you don't know, if you watch the previous videos, then by heart you will be able to remember now that what is happening where. In the occipital lobe you will have the visual function. Okay, in the temporal lobe you will have the auditory function, and in the parietal lobe you will have what, you will have the somatosensory function or the cortex. Okay, so somatosensory cortex over here, visual cortex over here, auditory cortex over here, and what is left now is the correct answer for this particular question. Frontal lobe, problem solving, decision making, everything will come under this frontal lobe. What is occipital lobe doing? For the visual cortex. What is temporal lobe doing? Auditory cortex. And what is this parietal lobe doing? For your somatosensory cortex. Okay, so why don't we just make a mnemonic, we just improvise. Have you ever played a PlayStation? And from the, what we can say, for the OV, you can remember like the ovaries, and you will have a travel allowance. Now this is like so much improvisation right now. Okay, you will never forget this thing in your entire life, what is the function of which lobe. Okay, now you will be playing PlayStation from the ovaries, just to remember some absurd topics, ovaries, and for that you will get the travel allowance as well. Okay, because you will be playing from this parietal lobe till their temporal lobe. Okay, so you will be getting the travel allowance as well. So now PlayStation, ovaries, and the travel allowance is the thing which you will need to remember again and again. Not remember, but just make sure that this mnemonic gets stuck in your head and you are good to go. Frontal lobe, F, temporal lobe, and parietal lobe. So PlayStation, temporal lobe is for what? It is for allowance, and frontal lobe is not for this. O is for the ovaries thing, occipital lobe. Okay. Now moving forward, what does groupthink refer to in social psychology? Groupthink is again a phenomena. Whatever 4 questions we have done so far is directly from the C book. And if you don't know what is C book, just join in the Telegram channel for a very short time. You will have the C book, A book, N book, F book. Everything is there available absolutely free for you. Now, individual thinking. If we are talking about group, obviously individual thinking has to rule out from here. Collective decision making is the correct answer. Obviously, it is not about the brainstorming, and it is not about the peer pressure. Okay, now this peer pressure is very IMP, because when you will face this the most, you will face this peer pressure in the adolescent stage. Agree? In the adolescent stage of your life, you will face the most peer pressure. Okay, because if she is wearing this, I have to wear this also. If he is having that, I have to have this also. And this is the common phenomena which everyone of us has faced this particular thing. Okay, the peer pressure. Along with that, there is one more concept on peer pressure where you can feel is about the conformity. Okay, if you remember the Solomon Asch experiment, over there 3 lines was like this. The 6th student was saying that okay, this line is the longest one. Okay, things like that. Why? Because he was in the peer pressure. Because from first to fifth, everyone was saying that middle line is the biggest one, and the seventh one was also saying that middle line is the biggest one. Okay, not exactly remember what line or what was that, but I hope you got the gist from here that what is peer pressure. Okay, and it is obviously not related to groupthink. Okay, though they are in a group doing, but it is not about groupthink, what we refer to as in the social psychology. Okay, now what is groupthink? It is the collective decision making that discourages dissent. And what does dissent mean? Pretty honest, what does dissent mean? It is about the disagreement with others, as those things like that. If you want to read complete about the group thing, refer to the C book. There is mentioned everything about those things, invulnerability and all those things. Okay, now moving forward to question number 5. I guess till now you are feeling this paper is super easy. Okay, which disorder is characterized by persistent sadness and loss of interest? Now, this is where your psychopathology starts. Which disorder is characterized by persistent sadness? Now, what does this persistent means? Now, as you can see, persistent for you as an adjective determined to continue, we will not take on this, we will take on this thing. Lasting for a long time or happening often. Okay, now what does persistent mean? That persistent sadness. That sadness is lasting for a very long time or happening very, very often. Now, out of these things, where you have seen sadness in schizophrenia, in depression, OCD, or bipolar disorder, and loss of interest. Okay, loss of interest is also a key thing over here. Persistent sadness and loss of interest. Obviously, you will not find this in schizophrenia. You will find this thing in the depression, not the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and not also in the bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder you have to take care of. This is very, very IMP. I am seeing in every PYQ which the papers are coming out. In every PYQ there is a question on bipolar disorder. So it is like something which you can't miss to do. Okay, just like subscribing this channel, you can't miss in your life. Same way, if you are preparing for Mphil, you can't leave bipolar disorder any day. And talking about schizophrenia, if you have not watched that movie called as A Beautiful Mind, then you must watch. Take your 1.5 hour, 2 hour, watch this movie, and you will never forget about schizophrenia. Okay, and we have also discussed about the positive symptoms as well as the negative symptoms, hallucination, delusion, and disordered thinking, and all those things. Okay, so what is the correct answer over here? It is option number B, depression, and not the obsessive compulsive disorder where you are showing compulsion to do something. Now, the exocrine glands are called dash, which secrete chemical substances other than hormones. Now, this question is from your biopsychology. The exocrine glands are called dash, which secrete chemical substances other than hormones. Now, they are going to secrete chemical substances in your body other than hormones. They are not going to secrete the hormones. So, what is the correct answer over here? Obviously, these are what? These are going to be the duct glands. Okay, why? This is the difference because duct glands will use what? They will secrete chemical substances other than hormones because they are having a duct. Now, what is a ductless glands? What are these? These are nothing but your, as simple as that, these are your endocrine glands. Okay. Now, if you have ever studied science in your life, then obviously your teacher would have taught exo means to exit or to outside, right? Exo means it is exit or outside, and endo means is something which is inside. Okay. So what is happening? These endocrine glands, just for example, your pituitary gland, your adrenal gland, and all those things, they are releasing these hormones where inside your bloodstream. Okay, inside your bloodstream directly they are releasing these hormones, but these exocrine glands can't do to such chemical substances. Okay, that is the difference between duct glands and ductless glands. Okay, so these ductless glands are called as the endocrine glands, and these duct glands are called as the exocrine glands. That is why option number A is the correct option over here and not the primary one. Okay, so I hope you got the concept over duct glands and ductless glands, and you will find this in the C book as well, not in this detailed explanation, but yes, obviously you will find mention about the endocrine glands. Now, next one is a simple one. I don't think you need a what options as well because they are talking about this Dollard and Miller, Skinner, Bandura, and Walters and Maslow. See now, this question can be made difficult. Okay, but this IHBAS guys want it as a speed test for you. that do you know the basic also, or basic do you know about this thing or not. Okay, let's suppose you don't know about Dollard and Miller, don't know about Skinner, don't know about Bandura and Walters, but you obviously will know about Abraham Maslow 1950. What this guy gave? Did he give radical behaviorism? Did he give this thing, this thing? Obviously, he gave self-actualization, and that is what, my dear, IHBAS wants you to answer. Not, they don't want whether about early social learning or later social learning you know or not. Okay, I can explain that also for instance, but they want you to know whether you know simple things or not, whether you know simple basic things or not, or you can answer these things correctly or not. Okay, see this question as well. You would have a 10th class student of today can easily answer this thing between duct glands and ductless glands. Okay, so you have to take care of, the more basic you will study for these kind of examination, the more high chances of your for getting the clearance and becoming a clinical psychologist. Now, option number B is the correct one. Dollard and Miller gave what? Early social learning. Skinner gave your radical behaviorism. This is IMP. Radical behaviorism was proposed given by B.F. Skinner. And C is with your 4. Bandura and Walters, the later social learning. Okay, and that is why option number B is the correct answer over here. Make sure that you remember this thing, Skinner, about radical behaviorism. Now, moving forward to the next question, and I can also discuss more about this Dollard and Miller and Bandura and Walters, but let's wait for the next upcoming parts. Which of the following personality types is described as noisy, callous, and fond? Are these endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph? I have no idea what is the correct answer for this. So do please comment down below what is the correct answer. And if you will also explain to me, I am always confused in this thing about the endo, ecto and meso. If you can comment down what is the differences and what is the thing and what is the correct answer over here as well. Okay. Now coming back to our question number 9, that is our, who among the following has defined perception as a complex of sensory and imaginal events? So the options given over here are Kimball, Tishner, Brunner and Schaffer. So obviously Brunner is not going to be the answer because he talked about this cognitive development and all those things. And there was a recent question in your NET examination as well. I don't know how many of you know about NET, but yes, it was an examination that happened over there and there was a question on Jerome Brunner as well. Okay, something like, I don't actually recall right now, but yes, the correct answer for this is, we are talking about the perception as a complex of sensory and imaginal events. So you can sense as well and imagine about that, and we are going to mark option number B. Edward Tishner, the father or the proponent of your structuralism, is the correct answer over here. Option number 9, B option, Tishner. Here they are talking about Gregory Kimball, who was again a behaviorist. And moving forward to the next one, who demonstrated that economic deprivation affects perception. Okay, so any companies or any country's economic deprivation will affect your perception, or any individual's economic deprivation might affect their perception. Was it given by Bruta and Ganguly, the Brunner and Goodman, the Seagal and Herzkowitz? So just take this question as a learning over here. Option number B, Brunner and Goodman, is the correct answer. Don't worry, you will never encounter such question again in your life. And if it comes back again in 25 or 26, it's your luck. So just memorize this and go ahead. Okay, you are not going to study or do any day this particular thing again about Brunner and Goodman's economic deprivation affects perception. Okay. All right. So this was now. In the next part, we will meet and we will discuss from question number 11 to question number 20. You are watching IHBAS 2024 question paper solution, and this video is part number 1. Make sure that you continue this series and watch all the parts from part number 1 till part number 10 or 987, whichever the early part comes in. Okay. And with this, if you want this question paper of IHBAS 2024, then what you can do, you can just join from the Telegram group, and there you will have many more things to explore and to read and write. Okay. So just join on the Telegram channel given in the link and see you there. Thank you, and meet you in the next part, that is going to be your part number 2. We will start from question number 11 till question number 20. Thank you.